Hello and welcome to TAP TV. It's the weekend and it's the 8th day of September 2023. I am Obed Jerry, your host for today. This is newspaper review where we analyze and dissect various catchy headlines on different newspapers. I am your host for today and I'm here with a gorgeous lady, Kosiso Chukwu. Hello, Miss Kosi. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm
How's
good.
your night? How's the weather treating you?
The weather is very cold today. Owing to the fact that it's raining season. We're in rainy season, so it's normal. It's expected. But we still thank God. At least I'm glowing.
That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. It's the weekend. Do well to
Thank
have
God.
fun.
Thank
Meet
God
with
it's
family and
Friday.
friends. Hang out. Live life.
Abi?
So without wasting much of our time, we move on to the business of the day. We'll be starting with the Daily Times newspaper. It reads, Climate Change, a threat to business survival, Nigeria's economic growth. Details of this story could be found on page 4 of the Daily Times newspaper. The main headline reads, We will not congratulate Tinubu, to Supreme Court we go, Atiku Obi declares. More details of this story will be found inside the Daily Times newspaper. Again, Lagos Assembly rejects 2 commissioner nominees. Details in page 4. Military neutralizes 814 terrorists, hinders theft of 4 billion crude oil. Sokoto will lead Nigeria in digital economic innovation agenda, says Commissioner, page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper. Nigeria loses 3% crude oil to theft daily, says Speaker of House of Representatives. Residents ask local government boss to account for 2 years allocation. Details on page 5. Now, Ms. Kosi, I want you to help us and give us your thoughts on this headline that reads, We will not congratulate Tinubu, to Supreme Court we go, says Atiku and Obi.
All right. This a court case that I've been following like ever since it started, because after the 2023 presidential election, which was held on 25th of February, that there has been series of court case, and they've been providing evidence, both the Labour Party candidate, that's the person of Peter Obi, and the PDP candidate, that's the person of Atiku. So after the court judgment, which was held on Wednesday, if you could remember, something happened before Wednesday. On Monday, the president of Nigeria, that's President Bola Tinubu, left the country ahead of the G20 summit, which is to be held today, and he left earlier.
Days ahead.
Don't you think that this is something that is supposed to be suspicious about? Days ahead. It's not as if he left. Maybe this is a very, very important case. And being the person that all eyes, like this is his own case, about 2 parties, they are against his leadership. And this, like, he's the main person here in terms of this thing, and he's meant to be present. And for the fact he left ahead of, it's not as if the G20 summit was something that they heard maybe on Tuesday or something like that. But he left ahead of the time. Don't you think that he must have arranged a whole lot of, like, put some things in place before going? So he already know this thing. I do tell people that I don't know why Nigerian courts judgment shocks you, because it doesn't. Everybody, me personally, I predicted it. It's not possible to remove a sitting president. Not if it's in all this civilized country, I would have understood. But this is not even a military regime. If it's, assuming it's something like military time, let me take you back to 1966. That's when Yakubu took over.
He was head of state.
When he took over, when he led the coup, and you know that it would have been both possible. At least they said maybe this person led coup and all that. But this one is civilian president, a civilian leadership, and it's not possible for them to remove him. If it were to be in something like USA or UK, it would have been much better. Because I remember in UK, something happened as of last year. Yeah, during the time of Boris Johnson, that was their prime minister. he was still, he was, they said he was still in seat when they had to remove him. You understand?
On what you said about the president traveling out of the country before the summit, and then knowing fully well that there was a court case that is very crucial. To another point of view, you know, he has advocates already. He has senior advocates standing up for him already in court.
He is meant to be present.
And then, you know, aside whether the verdict, the case or not, at this moment, he is president. Regardless of whether there's a case in court or not, he has to keep playing the role of a president.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very important thing. But the problem is, this G20 he went for was meant to be held today. That's on Friday. But he went ahead of it. Don't you think if it's something that is very, very important to you, you would have delayed it? What is so important that it can't wait for the court to give their judgment? Don't you think that if he, assuming he didn't know about, or maybe if he's not aware of the verdict, I don't think he would have left. I don't think it's possible. It shows that he has already, like he has known what is going to happen. He has known the outcome and everything. So him staying there, it won't impart anything there. But assuming the fact that you know that you could be removed, that alone can make you stay behind just to see how everything plays out. But it's as if Peter Obi and Atiku are the ones clamoring for it. And also, coming to this, after the verdict, there was a rumor that Atiku congratulated Tinubu, which he later came out during the World Press News Conference. He said he debunked it. He said he never congratulated him. That he rejected
congratulate him.
To me, I feel, until he agreed, until the court had their final say on it, that's the only way. Whether you like it or not, you have to.
Okay, so you have mandatory. The opinion that they should go ahead and take the case to the Supreme Court.
I'm not done. I'm not yet done. They are going to the Supreme Court, right? And firstly, why would there be, or why would the opposition, that is the APC party, rumor that he congratulated him? Don't you think that ever since Bola Tinubu came into office, he has been seeking for validation? Starting when he entered, there was something that happened. The military coup that started, that's in Niger. He was like the forward of it. Yeah, he is the president. He's the chairman of ECOWAS. But he played the role more than other countries. And this is not the first time. Even before the Niger Burkina Faso, they did their own. Nigeria didn't interfere. Why must it be at that time? Because he's trying to position himself as a pro-democrat.
Through propaganda.
And you know that his election to that seat has been characterized with lack of democracy. And Nigeria has been saying that they are practicing democracy. A whole lot of things that was against democracy. It happened on the day of election. There was rigging, there was violence, brutality. People lost their lives in the process. I remember a woman, she was bleeding, but she still came out to vote. That was true patriotic person of Nigeria, citizen of Nigeria. And now them going to court. I don't have anything against it, but I still feel it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause in terms of it's just like you are ruling against the hand that feeds you. Also, if you are the people that are meant to be heavily blamed in this crisis that we are in now is the INEC that claim to be independent. And I ask myself, are they actually independent as they claim to be? They promised us a fair judgment. They promised us a fair election. But the reverse was the case.
How everything was manipulated.
They promised us reverse. Why didn't they use the normal paper that we've been using? They promised us beavers, but during that time, a whole lot of fraud, a whole lot of glitches was happened during that time, and they didn't do anything. And you're asking them, and you're asking me, wondering, are they actually or truly independent as they claim to be? I feel that their independence should be hastened. They should enhance in their independence so that, because a lot of people's life, future depend in them.
Okay.
And also this INEC this thing, there was something that happened. They were saying that they decide, okay, if they are to conduct another election, that is going to cost them. So I was asking, when they made that promise, they promised us that they've put everything necessary in place. And now these people now are going to court. Nigerians are just waiting. If you remember what happened immediately after the verdict, lawyers were burning their wigs. They were like that the constitution is nothing in a country that claims to practice democracy.
At that angle, I think our constitution needs to be reviewed and things.
Exactly, because since 1999, it has not been reviewed. They should review it.
Because if this court
I do tell people that the constitution of Nigeria only favors the rich and not the poor. Once it's assuming it's something that they are trying the course between the rich and the poor, you see how they will bring everything. The way they turned the Nigerian constitution on Wednesday, it made me understand that Nigeria has no constitution. This is an honest truth. And now there's a popular saying that says, when two elephants are fighting, the grass suffers.
Exactly.
So if they should eventually have protests and everything, we the masses are the ones to suffer.
Exactly. Okay, Ms. Kosi.
Yeah, the point that
if the case is being taken to the Supreme Court, it still wouldn't
wouldn't
positive outcome.
Exactly, because we are not practicing the democracy we claim to be practicing. There have been series of incidents. There have been series of times the court has made their rules. Okay, for instance, during the time of Nnamdi Kanu, the court already allowed him to go free, but the DSS are still keeping him
in custody.
Even the time of Emefiele, the court granted him 200 million bail, but they still, if you remember that day, the DSS came and was fighting the correctional officers. For you to see the level of joke the country has turned us to, or the government has turned us into, the court had like toothless bulldog. They just bark and they can't bite. And that's why the judiciary, as of last day, they were clamoring for their independence. Let them be independent. And I feel that will even do us more good, so that you won't be ruling in favor of the person that is feeding you. You don't tell me that if I'm the one that appointed you and something happened and I call you for a case and you are to be the one to rule over my case, that you rule against me. It's not possible.
That's true. So
they should be independent in order to rule independently without no fear. Seriously, the symbol of a blindfolded woman with two balance is, to me, I feel it's a mockery to Nigerians.
Okay, Ms. Kosi, on another perspective, since Atiku and Peter Obi still want to take the case to the Supreme Court, I still feel like there is still hope.
There's no hope.
This Nigeria,
you're doing as if this Nigeria is no, the same people that will ruled, or the same case. It's just like, that there was a time during the whole petition procedure and all that. There was a time they said that Tinubu had a phone call with the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
An alleged phone call.
Alleged, which they debunk. But in every room, there must be atom of sense in there. Okay. Also, you don't tell me that when the president is the one to appoint the Chief Justice of Nigeria, that you feel that if I appoint you as the Chief Justice, which I just gave you the example now, that you rule against my favor.
Okay, that's true. So what I'm saying now is, let's just be hopeful and
I feel they should just drop it.
okay,
They should drop it.
they should drop the
That's the
they
main
shouldn't go
thing.
further. They should just
They should drop it
congratulate President Tinubu and
and
move
let
on.
everything, because it's better. Because I see how people are saying military coup is going around Africa and all that. They want Nigerians to also have their own military coup. I do tell them, if you understood the meaning of military coup or
And what
military
it's like.
and what it's like, just go back to the constitution, to the history, read some series of decrees, because then what they do is decree and edit.
Yeah.
Use their decrees, then you will understand. Come back to me, we can argue.
Exactly. Like my father would say, the worst democratic government is better
It's
than
the best military government.
Okay. So let's just say the Supreme Court rules a different verdict.
Then
from
that
what
means
the Appeal Court rules. What do you think would be the outcome in the country?
Even if they rule it, you will see a serious case where the Supreme Court, they've given their verdict, but still nothing is done. But if they actually do it and nothing is done, I think Nigerians will come out in mass to protest. And we are the ones to suffer it. But
Okay.
I feel they won't. Because they are more reasonable to understand that no matter what happens, they can never rule against the sitting president.
Okay, let's still be hopeful and think
You all these things are what ifs.
Let's still be hopeful and think that the Supreme Court will rule something different from what the Appeal Court said. Okay, you've talked about the citizens' angle. On the government angle, do you think the president and his cabinet, his ministers and all that, the newly appointees, would agree to step down, and maybe if the court says for a rerun and all that, would they agree?
If they say for a rerun, they will agree and they'll still rig it. But I still feel if the Supreme Court should rule like a different judgment, the problem now is between Atiku and Obi.
Okay,
Who will be declared the winner?
You are saying Tinubu would be eliminated from the line.
Not that, but if they are to disqualify him, between Atiku and Obi, who will be declared the winner? That's another issue. So to me, I feel the right thing they should do now is to allow Tinubu to rule. Because we are the ones to suffer it. These people, they will not. Most of them will leave this country. Us that don't have money to leave the country, will stay and suffer. And we'll put our faith in the hands of God. So that's it.
The thing is, we hope for a better Nigeria. We look out for God and
Impossible.
the Nigerian people to come to our aid. We are our own help. We are the people that will help ourselves. Let the judiciary, let them know what the right thing to do. Keep financial favors aside, keep party aside, and
Nigeria
rule
is
fairly.
good.
So it will favor an average Nigerian. So we move on to the next paper on the line, the Guardian newspaper. It reads, 30 killed in Abuja landslide, 19 kidnapped. Wike orders surveillance. Details of this story is found on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Lagos Assembly rejects 2 commissioner nominees, confirms 15 others. Details is found on page 27. Let the hammer fall on the same-sex union. This one is found on page 12. Endless wait for palliatives in states amid accountability deficit. More of the story is found on page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Atiku Obi rejects PEPC ruling. Head for Supreme Court. Details on page 6. Nigeria needs prayer to end insecurity, says Defense Minister. Details on page 3. Now, Ms. Kosi, let's talk on this 30 killed in Abuja landslide, 19 kidnapped, Wike orders surveillance.
Well, this brings me to the question of the topic of insecurity in Nigeria. Because insecurity has been literally on every Nigerian's life.
Every nooks and crannies of the country.
I'm telling you, there's no place you say that in Nigeria now that is secure. It's secured. It's not possible. Even the Abuja, they are saying, hey, Abuja, that's the world. This is where the thing happened. Exactly. Imagine 19 persons, you are kidnapped under the government nose and nobody could account for it. And you still think that Nigeria is secured? 19 persons. On top of it, 30 persons after the kidnapping, 30 persons died. because of illegal mining. Because too much of mining, yeah, we are blessed. Nigerians, I do think we are blessed with natural resources, with minerals. But the way they are going about it
Abusing
is
it, misusing
is endangering the lives of the citizens. I feel that Nigerians, what we have, what is our problem here is misplace of priorities.
putting the wrong things first.
Exactly. Look at the legislators. They are earning millions every month. Why not put securities, civilian cameras, at least to be monitoring all the movement? That's why I like all the civilized countries. If Nigeria should ever attain the height of, you see,
Being that civilized.
civilized. Do you know, somebody was telling me that in UK, once you pass a place, maybe they say 40 kilometer per hour, and you pass, maybe you increase it to maybe something like 42 or 43, they will snap the plate number of your car. The camera, hidden cameras, you don't know. They will snap the plate number of your car. Before you get home, they've already delivered it to you. You have to pay. If it's your first time of overspeeding, you pay fine of £100, or maybe you take a course on overspeeding, or you go to court. It depends the degree of your crime.
And how consecutively you do it.
Exactly. So for you to see how civilized, here in Nigeria, you can drive recklessly. It's all these big tankers, the way they drive. It's even scary to drive in Nigerian roads.
Properties.
Then imagine 19 persons were kidnapped and nobody could account for it. All these police checkpoints, they couldn't even account for it. How?
Remembering that just a few days ago, they increased security in the FCT. So what I'm asking is, that security they increased in the FCT just 2 days ago, was it majorly for only the court case, or that's how they made it in the whole of Abuja?
You know, maybe I really don't understand them. Oh. Seriously, I really don't understand them. The insecurity in Nigeria is too much. I don't know whether once there's a court, something like this court proceeding, they don't want protest. Anything that will affect the government, this is how you see them increase security in that particular place. Because they don't want anything like protests or anything. Because once there's a protest in a part of this thing, you see how different people will start organizing protests.
Yes, exactly.
You understand? So, in terms of this insecurity, I feel that the government should do more. They should do better. A lot of lives are being lost because of our recklessness, because of the nonchalant attitude of the government. The Nigerian government, there are a lot of things they're supposed to channel their money into, in terms of security. Because assuming there is surveillance camera everywhere, it would have been much better to locate that plate number. At least now they are doing proof of ownership. They will be able to locate that. From there, the investigation will start. 19 persons were kidnapped and nothing was heard. Nobody knew how they were kidnapped. Nothing. And a lot of things are still coming. People are living their lives in fear. 13 persons lost their lives and nobody, because of illegal mining.
Okay, those 30 persons that lost their lives due to illegal mining, do you think the government should intervene and intercept those illegal miners? And then what should be done?
That's the main thing is getting.
Should the family of the bereaved be compensated?
If it was to be in a place, in a civilized country, this thing wouldn't even have happened at the first place. And the miners, the first thing is knowing them. Most of them are our politicians. They'll send people to go and do it.
Okay, on another thought, what if those illegal miners, those persons that lost their lives, are part of those illegal miners?
No, they said the people resident living there, like
around that vicinity.
And most of them is possible. And at times we endanger ourselves without knowing. So it's really annoying.
All this actually boils down to our economy, because if the economic standard was high, there are kind of illegal works that people would not even involve themselves in, since they know how risky it is.
Exactly. You are right.
19 persons were kidnapped in FCT, the capital of the country, right? And then few days ago, just 2 days ago, the appeal court made a verdict. One of their verdicts is Abuja now is to be counted as the 37th state. It shouldn't be given any preferential treatment. So I'm asking, do you think that since they've given that ruling, do you think Abuja shouldn't be given preferential treatment, those special securities, special amounts spent there? It should be treated as every other state are being treated.
What you are trying to say is that if all those things have been done, that means it will secure it will be secure that the what?
What I'm asking is, I said the appeal court said that before they said Abuja, you should have how many percent
Exactly.
of votes, including the FCT.
Exactly.
Now they calculate FCT as another state, that's the 37th state.
exactly.
So, and you know, for a while, Abuja has been having preferential treatment,
Exactly.
different allocations of funds for road, for security, for shelter and all that. So shouldn't they now be seen as other equal states, same amount allocated to Anambra, Abia states, given to FCT?
Yeah,
Or it should still be on that high level,
No, as long as they've already made them
that
to
way?
be 37, you understand? They should be given the same treatment. But the reason why they're giving them that preferential treatment is that most of the ministers reside there. Most of the governors, even let me mention one governor's name, governor of Imo State. He left his home place to be staying in Abuja. That's why people are now trying to tell him that. How can you not make Imo State secure? Because you know how
For you to live
insecure
in.
your place is. You couldn't stay there. So everybody is migrated to Abuja because of this. At least it's more secure as this claimed to be. But I know that some parts in Abuja, they are very it's not as secure as they claim. Just that some parts where the ministers, where the government are, I feel that's the place that is more secure. And Abuja, now I'm even happy that their minister now is
Yes, I'm okay.
Yes, at least I trust that man, action man.
Yeah,
They should wait for his return. They should wait for him because I knew what he did to River State. At least to some extent, the river is secured, not too secure, but at least River State felt his presence while he was the governor. So.
Thank you, Ms. Kosi, for your analysis so far. We'll be going for a quick commercial break. Stay put, don't go nowhere.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. This is still the newspaper analysis on Tab TV. We still have Ms. Kosi here with us. So moving on to the last paper of the day. This is the Nigerian Tribune. It reads, 10 arrested over killing of 200 level 4-year students. Body found in shallow grave behind lecture hall. Details on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. Nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. Details on page 8. Atiku Obi, we are going to Supreme Court. Details on page 3 and 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. 19 kidnapped in FCT Council. Wike may hold emergency security meeting. 30 die in landslide. Details on page 26. $46 billion crude oil stolen in Nigeria in 11 years, says Speaker of House of Representatives. Army court-martials, 14 officers, 9 soldiers for various offenses. Page 23. Ms. Kosi, let's talk about this $46 billion crude oil stolen in Nigeria in 11 years.
Okay, fine. All right. I'll first of all have to take you guys back to history. Yeah, because from the start, from when they discovered the crude oil in Nigeria, that was 1960s. That was 1966, something like that. And I can't remember, but it's between that 1960 to 1970. So in between that period, Nigerian economy was centralized. It was solely on crude oil. The economy of Nigeria was solely on crude oil that even Yakubu Gowon had to engage, or he had to embark on some elephant projects. That's e- elephant project in terms of buying some useless things because of the way the money was coming, the profit came. So they said that he came out to say that the problem of Nigeria it's not even about money, it's how to spend the money, what to use the money to do. That he even had to go to Grenada to pay for 3 months salary for teachers. And he was embarking on a whole lot of things, and even till now, a whole lot, the money that he embezzled from this thing, crude oil, is being still now shared among Nigerians. And you ask yourself, Nigerians, yeah, we are blessed with mineral resources. We are blessed with crude oil. I would say that Nigeria is even the most blessed country in Africa when it comes to petroleum and mineral resources. But the problem is, how do our government, our leaders manage it? Exactly. How do these people handle our natural resources? That's why, I'll continue to make instance of the Libya then president, the former president that was killed. That was during the time of Gaddafi. Libya made Gaddafi made Libya a place where other countries had to come to look for greener pasture. He told Libya that that Libya is blessed with natural resources and crude oil, that he will use the profit from it and develop Libya. And he did it. Tracing that the way, as long as once you graduate from school and you've not gotten a job, what he does is to put you on monthly salary until you get a job. Even once you give birth, you'll be placed on monthly salary until your child comes to a certain age before you can start working and all that. Even the early ones are meant to come to local government to collect their food stuff every month. So now, the Nigerian leaders, and I'm asking, why didn't they emulate from these people? We are blessed. We are blessed. Calm down. We are blessed. Why didn't they use our crude oil, the profit from it, to develop Nigeria? During the time of Yakubu Gowon, why didn't they develop Nigeria? Some of the projects they embarked during that time was left unattended. Why? Because, before you tackle a problem, you first of all look at the root of it. This has not been the first case, or this has not been the first time Nigeria has been embezzling the profit or the proceeds from crude oil. As of 2005, the report says that the production of crude oil from Nigeria per day it reduced from 2.51 to 1.77 million barrels per day. It reduced. So, and between 2005 to 2020, that they lost that over 649 million barrels, worth 46 billion, was actually embezzled, was stolen. And they are asking, who are the people? Who are those the thieves?
And then,
who are those people that...
What measures have the government taken to stop
Because how would they stop it? Because most of them are the people destined to be stealing it from from the government. Most of these governments, most of them, they stole the oil. And you're asking, because they know, it's just like me, I know I'm benefiting from this. You cannot set measures to prevent me from getting it. Because if Nigeria actually wanted to reduce the amount of theft going around that area, they would have done it long time ago. But because they know they're also benefiting, the government are benefiting from this. You don't tell me that then once they see few ordinary people, ordinary citizens, that maybe they'll embezzle or something, they will try the person. Once they see them, there was a story I was reading where two men, they illegally took some barrel of oil,
Bunkers.
they had to try them and even send them to prison. And I'm asking, whereas there are people every year
Stealing barrels.
like millions of barrels of oil, and nothing. The government is not doing anything. Imagine from 2005 to 2020, over
straight
600,
11 years.
like, what's 46 billion, and nothing is done about it. Nobody, they couldn't even account for it. And they proudly came out to say it. For you to see the government, the government you're operating in Nigeria.
The speaker says $46 billion has been embezzled. And all that.
Embezzled.
Okay, my question is, assuming this amount was not embezzled, would Nigeria have been any better?
Yes. Do you know what $46 billion, not naira, $billion.
To be like roughly how many trillions?
And we are here suffering for our uncompleted refineries in different states. Like in Port Harcourt here, we have our own, uncompleted project going on, which the present president has already promised that by the end of this year, that it will start working, which we still all know that how Nigerian government is. They always come out with empty promises without doing anything about it. They have the one in Warri refinery. Nothing has been done.
No improvement.
No improvement. Those are the things they meant to, because they know that once they complete it, they won't be able to be collecting those barrels of oil, because it's after, once they want to, because after the production, they'll have to transport it over to where they refine it. That's why we are clamoring for them to at least complete our refinery. So we won't be going over there. Imagine we are the owner of crude oil, but we are buying it at a very exorbitant price, which is wrong. It's just like you own this and we are buying it. Then what about others? That means, if assuming we didn't own it, only God knows how much we were supposed to be buying it. That's why even most countries now, they are abandoning petroleum, even petroleum cars. They are moving over to, like UK now, currently, UK are moving over to electric cars,
And gas,
Teslas. So for you to see that Nigeria, if we don't make use of this oil, there will be a time where Nigeria won't even be able to boast of anything like exportation of oil, because that's where the economy of Nigeria is centralized on. And I applaud the speaker, the House Speaker, that's TJ Abbas. I applaud him for at least bringing out committee, setting up ad hoc committee that will investigate this step going on, because it's really getting too much. And I pray that they will carry out those duties without any favor, because Nigeria, you know how it is. Exactly. You know how Nigeria is.
Favoritism and nepotism.
A whole lot of things. So I just pray that whatever they are doing, they should carry it out fairly, without any fear of favoring a particular party or a particular individual. So that's my own.
The truth there is, Nigeria has many loopholes that has to be fixed. And then I noticed that Nigerians, we are our own problem. When we know that this thing is wrong, but since it's favoring us, we tend to not look into that part. Everybody knows that stealing the crude oil would affect the economic balance of the country, but they will still do it. The crude oil will favoring a few number of the whole masses.
Exactly. You're right. It's true, which is wrong. And I also encourage the government to, despite the economy of Nigeria, let it not center only on crude oil. At least agriculture, we are blessed with fertile soil.
Agriculture is a good thing to venture into too.
To venture into too. So I feel we have a whole lot of things that we would have separated, or instead of concentrating more on that our crude oil, we should decentralize it. Let's also go into agriculture, go into different things that will be bringing money or revenue into Nigerians' economy.
Thank you. We implore the government to look into the situations of the country, the economy, the oil, the agricultural sector, and other sectors too. We also implore the citizens of Nigeria to be law-abiding, because some of them do not even wait for the government to make amends. Some of them are the ones that burst pipelines and steal and vandalize properties, which is not right. So we come to the end of today's program. Remember, I am Obed Jerry, your host for today, and this is Ms. Kosiso Chukwu. This is TAB TV's newspaper review. Do well to follow us on our social media handles. Do well to like our videos. Do well to comment on the comment section. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us how you feel. See you next time.